Boom, 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 Chanka. How's it going, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with a cheeky little preview for you. Just got about half an hour to spare, so I thought I'd jump on live and just give you my thoughts and opinions and just have a little bit of a preview of the Manchester derby tomorrow. Obviously, a huge game. Coming up against Pep Guardiola's Man City is never an easy task. You know, they do play great football. They are a great team. United this season, we've been very hit and miss. We've been ropey here, great there. Obviously, in the last time out against Spurs, we put in a really good performance. And we did get the better of a good Spurs team, though they are in a transitional period with Jose coming in. But they looked revitalised before that. We got the better of them. Can we get the better of Pep Guardiola's Man City? Or will it be an absolute melt job? Can we go there and shine like Pep Guardiola's bald head under the empty-hand floodlights? That is the question. That's what we're going to need to do. We'll get into it in this live show, but just want to say thanks to everybody who's stopping by already. I can see OTB, how you doing? Thank you very much for being the first person to comment on the stream. Big D, Richard James, Abbas Hassani, Alex the Rinconator. Great to have you lads and lasses in here. Thank you very much for stopping by. Obviously we're hoping for a Manchester United victory in this one. Last time out against Spurs, we got the win there. Convincing as well, in my opinion. We looked like an actual team. We looked like we could create. We looked like we could attack. We had chances, and we were dangerous. Now, it's a lot of that's down to the fact that we had the whole team on form. The tactics were right. Spurs were all over the place. They were all at sea. And United really just looked the superior side. But there was reasons for that. There was the tactics behind it. The players all performed. Rashford was just having an absolute worldie. McTominay, McSauce was having an absolute worldie. Even Fred was having an absolute worldie. So if we are going to have the better of City in this Manchester derby, then we're going to have those players perform. We're going to have the big game players perform and pretty much nobody make any stupid mistakes a la Victor Lindelof. So there we go. I think it's a winnable game for United at the moment. That's only because Manchester City, if you look at them recently, they just haven't quite looked as good. They haven't looked as good as they have over the past few seasons. I mean, I think they've already nearly dropped as many points this season as they did in the entirety of last season. So it goes to show you they're having a bit of a stutter by their very, very high standards. Guardiola's obviously a great coach. He knows how to get them playing great football. United have bottled it against City over the last couple of seasons, really. If my memory serves correctly, I think last season they did the double over us. Quite convincingly too, maybe 2-0 and 3-1 in that game, I think it was, so in those games. So United are going to have to put that behind us, go there and try and get the victory. Is it possible? I mean, if you look at the way City are playing recently, they're stuttering a little bit. Sure, they smashed Burnley the other day and Gabriel Jesus scored a brace. But before that, he's been a little bit goal shy for him, you know. They don't have Sergio Aguero fit. That's a loss for them. So they're relying on Gabriel, who's not really been doing it. Sure, he scored a couple against Burnley and they smashed him the other day. Who really gives a shit about that, to be honest? He's out of form, is what I'm saying. He's a great player. He's still dangerous. He'll probably score a hat-trick now, I said that. But he's out of form. United have their own problems in terms of up the top of the pitch there. Anthony Martial, what's going on with him? Mason Greenwood, will he be playing? Obviously quite an inexperienced player, but a good young player. Doesn't seem to be much of a loss for me in terms of replacing Martial with Greenwood at the moment, because Martial's movement in the last few games has been pretty gash-tastic, let's be perfectly honest. Rashford was amazing, James has been amazing. We're going to need those guys to have a top quality game in order to get the better of City in this one. I mean, there's a couple of interesting points. United have had 24 hours less to recover than City, so City have got the slight fitness advantage there, you'd have to say. You might see some problems occur in the latter part of the game for United, just keeping it together. In terms of the squad and the selection that Manchester United are going to put out there, I think we're probably only going to see about one change from the previous fixture against Spurs. I mean, I haven't actually seen if there's any new injury issues. I know there was a press conference which I haven't been able to catch yet, actually, but I will do after this video, pretty much, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer previewing and everything, the press conference for the derby today. But I would have to say, I think it's going to be quite an unchanged side. The only change I could perhaps foresee would be maybe Brandon Williams coming in for Ashley Young there at left back. I think the rest of the team's pretty much going to remain the same. Before that, I wouldn't have said Jesse Lingard would be anywhere near this starting 11 whatsoever, because he's literally been freaking gash-tastic all season, hasn't he? But the last time out against Spurs, he was good, and I do know Solskjaer likes to play high pressing players against teams like City who can dominate possession and stuff like that. So I think we're going to press them, and I think Jesse Lingard's going to be an important part of that in behind the striker, which is depressing to see. You know, I don't want to see Jesse Lingard starting the game, but last time around I didn't want to see it, and he actually performed, and he actually played pretty well. Now, there's talk about Paul Pogba perhaps coming back into it and replacing him in that position for this game. I would absolutely love to see that. You all know my thoughts on Paul Pogba, but I still think he's 10 times the player of Jesse Lingard, to be honest, especially if you played him in behind the striker, in the hole there, in his position, in his favoured position. He could probably tear it up for us in front of McTominay and Fred. Which brings me on to my next point, which is Scott McTominay. Who's just been an absolute revelation this season for United, to be fair to him, and we really missed him for that period where he was injured. He's come back in the last game against Spurs. He's pretty much the best player on the park, wasn't he? He was pretty much looking like we had swapped him for Kevin De Bruyne in the centre of the park there. That's how bloody good he is. And look, Kevin De Bruyne is basically the best midfielder in the Premier League. You have to give him that. He's leading the assist charts, I believe. I think he's just generally a quality player. He scores goals, he creates, he's a very dangerous, influential pass master of a player as well. McTominay sort of reminded me of him the other day. Somebody else in the comment section made the same comment. It's a big statement. Of course, McTominay's nowhere in terms of his progression as a player and what he's done and what he's achieved in the game compared to Kevin De Bruyne. But you have to say, though, it's going to be an interesting battle in the centre of the park to see how those two guys do get on against each other. If we have Fred playing there alongside McTominay, those two are going to have a very important and very positive game, like they did in the last game against Spurs. Can they do it 2 games in a row? I mean, it remains to be seen. Just some statistics that I want to get at you guys, and then we'll crack back on with the rest of the sort of preview. Just going to read a couple of comments out before I get into there, actually. Abbas Hassani comments, City defence are weak. I mean, to be fair, they've conceded a fair amount of goals recently. So I hear what you're saying. Alex Rincon, he comments, we can beat City, it's possible. I mean, I think most of us really would be quite happy with the draw in this game because we got the win against Spurs away at City. They're obviously one of the top teams in the country. They've obviously had their way with us with reasonable ease over the last couple of seasons. So, yes, apart from that Paul Pogba revelation, I think that's the last game where I remember United getting the better of City, where we had an incredible second half and we beat them 3-2. But since then, I think we've just been getting battered. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we can beat them, Rincon. You're absolutely right. It is possible. It's not the easiest game ever. But right now, I think City are just looking a little bit vulnerable for them. And that is not saying much because they're an incredible side. But for them, I mean, they are looking slightly vulnerable, as the statistics I'm about to read out will show. Because it's not been their best standard under Guardiola at City. The last couple of seasons are way better than this season already. So here we go. Let's read some statistics out for the derby that I've just noted down that I think are sort of relevant and quite interesting. If you guys know any, please do get in there. Just want to say thanks to Gungshi for super chatting in already. Thank you very much, Gungers. Hope you're doing well. He's just sent, Pogba isn't ready according to BFA, but Martial might be. I agree with Alex. Williams should play ahead of Shaw, who doesn't look fit to me. Thank you so much, Gungshi, for your super chat there. I've got a little bit of a sore throat. You guys might be able to see that. It's getting a bit scratchy, so apologies for that. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Williams has looked fantastic since he's sort of broken his way into the side. He may be young, but he seems to already have a better standard and a better consistency and just fight a bit harder than Luke Shaw already. Gashly Clunge, we all know about Gashly. He'll probably play, unless he's not fit enough. I'm sure that Solskjaer will probably put him in there. But I do hope Williams is the man that plays. In terms of Martial playing, I mean, yes, I would like to see Martial playing if we're going to get the Martial that turns up and actually makes good runs and looks clinical in front of goal, because the last couple of games, I'm sorry to say, he hasn't quite looked there. And Mason Greenwood, to me, just seems to have that natural ability at the moment. And maybe it could be that sort of time in that game where he can just cement himself in United legend and just have an unbelievable breakout performance for United. Because look, Greenwood's been fantastic for us with the limited chances he's had, and he's taken a lot of the chances that have fallen to him and converted a high percentage of his chances. But if he could just somehow score a brace or have a big game for us if he is selected in the team, man, what a breakout that would be for the lad. Yes, thank you very much there, Gungshi. Much appreciated for the comment. And Alex, yeah, Williams should definitely be playing ahead of Shaw. Luke Shaw, I mean, just it's just not going to work out for him at United, I don't think. Look, as a backup, maybe will he be happy to do that? I don't know. Maybe send him over to Atletico Madrid or something. Right, let's get on to the statistics then. Just a few shout-outs before I do, actually. Neil Duffin, I can see you in it. EZ, Thomas Gibbons FC. Hiya, thank you very much for getting involved here. Get your thoughts and opinions in on the game tomorrow, but some statistics that I have noted down, here they are. City were beaten by Wolves at home in October. They've actually never lost more than one home league game in a Premier League campaign under Pep Guardiola. So that means they've already had their one for the season. Will we be the team to actually go there and get the win and give them their second home league defeat in a Premier League campaign? I mean, it doesn't look good, does it? That doesn't bode well when you read that sort of statistic. But look, this is a different season. It's a different City side. United are brimming with a little, well, I was going to say brimming with confidence. We're not brimming with confidence. I think we've had our best run of the campaign so far, and we've been undefeated in 4 games. So, if that's brim with confidence, then we're brim with confidence, but it doesn't sound like it to me. Manchester City! They've dropped 13 points home and away compared to 16 points in the entire 2018 campaign and compared to 14 points during the 2017-18 campaign, and it's only just December. What does that tell you? Well, they're still doing pretty well, aren't they? They're way ahead of us in the league, but they're not doing as good as they usually do. So that's a good thing for United. It's 8 matches without a clean sheet for City in all competitions. I mean, I don't know when the last time you could have said that is, but they've actually conceded in all of their 8 previous games in all competitions, which means, like the previous commenter said, they are there to be had at the back. Defensively, they've got some vulnerabilities. United with our pace, our counter-attacking ability. If the players up top there, the likes of James or Martial Greenwood, if they're playing, and Rashford have a big game and perform, who knows, we could definitely score some goals against City in this one. Gabriel Jesus, I spoke about it a bit previously in the video about him being out of form and out of favour a little bit. I know he smashed in a couple against Burnley the other night, which will do his confidence really, really good. And he's a great player. I really rate Gabriel Jesus, but he's not looked quite up to the standard recently. They don't have Aguero there. And statistically, Gabriel Jesus hasn't scored in 10 appearances at the Etihad Stadium in all competitions since March. Which is a freaking gash-tastic statistic, isn't it? 10 games in all competitions at home, and he hasn't scored. That is shite. So that's bloody great. But then, adversely, United, we have only won 1 of our past 11 Premier League away matches. So, we've only won 1 of them. I think that was against Norwich City at Carrow Road, and other than that, we haven't won any of them this season. So, away from home, we've been absolutely catastrophic, and it's going to be difficult for us to go there. A team that is, the champions, a team that's much further along than us, that has a great style of play, that's way more settled. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to go there and get another away win. I'm just going to tell you my prediction for the game right now before I get into the statistics and get into your comments and all that good stuff. I think it's going to be a draw. I actually do think it will be a draw, and I think United will come away with it with a point and will be absolutely over the moon about that one. As much as it's always nice to win a derby, it's also nice not to lose the bloody derby. And where United are in the league at the moment, we're desperate for points. Coming up against City away, it's not a game that we should be expecting a win, to be brutal. I mean, it would be nice. It could happen, like Rincon said earlier. It absolutely could happen, just like I didn't think really realistically we could get the job done against Spurs with how things were going. But football's a funny old game. Let's see how the players go out there on the night. And you never know, we could be causing an upset and making Manchester temporarily red again. It's always frickin' red anyway, but I mean, it's hard to say that when we haven't won, the league title for 7 freaking years, and they have. So there you go. But right, okay. We've gone 12 top flight away fixtures without a clean sheet. It's our longest such run for more than 33 years. We conceded in 15 consecutive games between September 85 and April 86. Other than that, this is the worst. So, statistically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got his work cut out for him. It's really not been a good season. Performance-wise, points-wise, it's right down there with the dreary, drab 80s for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford, though, this is a big statistic that I want to talk about, has scored 9 goals in his past 10 United appearances. I mean, that's freaking Messi and Ronaldo form. Okay. You've got to keep it up consistently, but 9 goals in 10 for Marcus Rashford in all competition. I mean, that's bloody awesome. People do like to criticise and say that he doesn't score goals, well, I mean, 9 goals in 10, you can't ask for much more than that, really. Maybe 10 in 10. Make it 1 in 1, Rashford. I mean, you're slipping. Yeah, you've got to be happy with Rashford and how he's progressing. He is only 22. He's only just turned 22. Talking about somebody who's going to be featuring for United for the next decade, hopefully. Featuring for England for the next decade, hopefully. Playing with quality players, improving as he goes along, physically improving, mentally improving with experience. This lad's going to be a heck of a player. Come on. He's only 22. So 9 goals in 10 appearances. If he has another great performance like he did against Spurs, he can rip City's defence open. He can cause all sorts of problems on the left, cutting in, taking it wide, whipping balls in. You know, he's got the pace, he's got the ability. I know there's some people that still don't really rate Marcus Rashford, but what I'd say is, you know, just give it a couple of years. Right now is not the finished article. He's still learning, he's still progressing, he's still going to improve a significant amount. Give him a couple more years. But right now, for a 22-year-old who's come through our academy and everything, you've got to be happy with how his career is progressing. It's almost like it's not his fault that there's so much emphasis on him. It's not Wan-Bissaka's fault. It's not Daniel James's fault. It's none of these young lads' fault that there's so much pressure on them. But there is. Like, Daniel James has come in. He's pretty much our key man. He's 21 years of age. He's come up from the Championship. No Premier League experience, and he's pretty much our most dependable player this season. And we count him as the big player for us already. And that's wrong, really. We should have, way more experience in there. But that goes to show you the lack of quality we've got in the side, the lack of depth, and the fact that it is really a massive development and a massive rebuilding project, this Man United side. So give Solskjaer a little bit of time. Give him at least until the end of the season. That's what I want to see, regardless of this result against City. I've been saying it all season long. Sure, I've had my criticisms of his selections or his tactics or his in-game management and some of the gash stuff that he's done. But overall, I've maintained that I think Solskjaer should get until the end of the season regardless. Certainly not sack him off after losing to City and get Pochettino in there just because the Everton job's become available, the Arsenal job and all this shite, to get a manager, okay, who is good at building squads and developing squads, but he hasn't actually won anything either. So, that doesn't impress me much. Let's talk about Kevin De Bruyne then. He's the key man for City. Of course he is. He's been doing the business for them this season, leading the assist charts, and basically he's created more chances than any other Premier League player, and he's heading up the assist table. So that just goes to show you he's the best sort of creative midfielder in the Premier League. It's going to be difficult for our players to keep a lockdown on him in the game. Players like Fred, players like McTominay, they're going to have a very huge game tomorrow, just like they did against Spurs. They were defensively great going forward. Great leadership, great tenacity, all that good stuff that was on display. That is going to have to be on display in spades tomorrow to win that midfield battle, which is a region on the pitch that United have been absolutely shit in this season. The midfield has been terrible. You know, at least we won't be playing Pereira and Fred in there because it's just too lightweight. Now McTominay's back in the side. That's huge for us. He's a huge player for us. I mean, let's just take a moment and just appreciate Scott McTominay, because a couple of years ago he was nowhere in his development at United, and suddenly we're talking about the midfield battles he's going to be having with Kevin De Bruyne in a sort of reasonable way. Like, how is he going to fare against him? And it's not as clear-cut as to say De Bruyne is more experienced and he's better and he's going to win the game. No, McTominay plays with his heart on his sleeve. He seems to grow in character throughout games. Look at that Spurs game. I mean, without him in there, if we'd have another player in there, I don't know, Matic or Pereira or somebody else, we wouldn't have won that game. McTominay was the difference maker, so I think he's a huge player for United right now, and I'm looking forward to see how he continues to do that. Jesse Lingard was directly involved in six goals in 7 league matches in December last year. He's neither scored nor provided an assist in any of his subsequent 23 league appearances. Oh my God! But didn't he get the assist in the previous game, actually, for Rashford? Or maybe it didn't count as a Jesse Lingard assist, but he definitely had a hand in it. So, once. Once in 23 games, something like that. It's freaking absolutely gash-tastic. Look, he's a bloody pigeon-faced little dweeb, isn't he? Let's be real. Sorry, Jesse. But he shouldn't be anywhere near my United team. But I think Solskjaer's going to select him. I just want to say that. I said that earlier. I think Solskjaer will select him in the team simply because he likes to press against teams like City. Lingard's pretty decent at that. He does have bags of energy. He was good in the last game. So at least in terms of form, at least in terms of showing something for the team, he's actually maybe deserving of starting this game. Plus, who else are you going to play there? If Pogba's not fit, then we could play Pereira. But look, I'm not overly impressed with what I've seen from Pereira recently either. Angel Gomez, same sort of thing. Okay, he's young and still developing and all that good stuff. It's not the sort of game we're going to see Angel Gomez thrust in there to play in the Manchester derby against City at this moment in time, I don't think. Same goes for Chong. So I think you'll be seeing Jesse Lingard in the side. Oh yeah, Alex Rincon makes a good point. He says Lingard is miles better than Mata at the moment. He must be. You know why? Because I completely bloody forgot about Mata. He's turned into the invisible Mata at the moment. And I don't understand what is the matter with him. Because technically he's great. He's been one of the Premier League's best players over the last 6 or 7 years. But right now, he's looking awful. The last couple of times we've seen him, and you know I do generally rate Mata, but I've just got to call it how I see it, and based on form and how they're doing, he's been invisible in the games that we've seen him. And so I actually agree with you, Alex. I think right now, Lingard, especially in the game against City in this one, with the pressing that he brings to the side, is probably a better fit for this team right now. Not to say that Mata shouldn't be on the bench and couldn't come on and maybe unlock their defence and put in a good performance again, because we know he's got the quality. He's just not showing that at the moment. I'm sorry, you've got to show it. Thank you very much for your comment there. We've got a super chat here from Nick Brown. Thank you very much. She says, great video, Pig. He or she says, great video, Pig. Love your channel. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for stopping by in here. Legend. Yeah, Rink says, this is why I was pissed off when United extended his contract. Matter is all for the season. He's just old and regressing. I mean, I can't deny it. I mean, we've seen a couple of decent things from him. I think he has got 1 or 2 assists this season. And previously, over the years, he's been a good player for us. But he's just not doing it now. And I think with how Solskjaer wants to play, especially in games like City, he's not the sort of player you want. He's just so weak and unphysical, isn't he? I mean, I love the guy. He's actually probably the nicest human being you're likely to ever meet. Not that I've met him, but he just seems like a nice guy. Maybe you actually meet him in person and you go, oh, Matt, can I have a picture? You go, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? How depressing would that be? You know, they say don't meet your heroes. You meet Juan Mata and he just tells you to fuck off. That would be awful. Anyway, it could happen. No, I don't think it could happen. He's awesome. Gungshi says, no producer today, Pig. No, there's no producer in the room today, unfortunately, Gungshi. Maybe tomorrow, though, for the City game, there will be a producer in here, a.k.a. my long-suffering missus. Tudor Conco says, why isn't Mata played at number 10? He isn't a winger. Well, I fully agree he shouldn't be played out on the wing. He's slow, he's frail, he's not really great at taking people on. Sure, he can cross, sure, he's got technical ability, but he has been played at number 10 a couple of times recently. He's not looked good there either. Griffo Chaz comments, when are we getting a Pig United FIFA career mode? I have no idea, Griffo Chaz. There's lots going on at the moment, my friend. Soon. Hopefully soon. Maybe that'll be like a January thing. Shout out to Ash Holding as well. So just to clarify, the team that I think Manchester United are going to put out in the game tomorrow. Sorry I don't have a little cheeky graphic done up for you lads and lasses. But I think there's just going to be one change from the previous game. So we'll be having De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, and I'm hoping Brandon Williams at left back, so that'll be the change. I think we will be playing Fred and McTominay in the centre of the park again, and hopefully they can put in the sort of performance they did last time around. In front of them, Jesse Lingard will be up there, I think, and I do think it'll be Rashford out wide on the left and Daniel James on the right with Greenwood up top. Now, I know there's some speculation that Martial might be back fit, but I think that is the lineup that we're looking most likely. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody else is, is injured. Right, let's get into the comment section. By the way, if you are tuned in live to this live show, thanks very much for stopping by. I know it's a bit of a random time. I just thought I'd pop on here as I had a little window of opportunity to talk about how we're going to batter Manchester City tomorrow. 5-0. I hope it happens. Look, I mean, it would just be amazing, wouldn't it? It would just be absolutely bloody mangasmic right now. And it would make my Christmas, to be perfectly honest with you, if we could get the win over Spurs and get the win over City. That would make my bloody Christmas, I tell you. Gungshi comments, Pig has never been Ollie out. No, I mean, I haven't been Ollie out. I've sort of got angry after certain performances and criticised him and said, you know, he's going to have to sort his ways out, otherwise he's not going to last very long. But I've never actually said, look, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club, because I know the problems at Manchester United stem from the owners. They stem from that potato boy Woodward in charge as chief exec doing nothing. These are the biggest problems we have at the club. Nobody could doubt Jose Mourinho's credentials as a manager. Nobody can doubt Louis van Gaal's credentials as a manager. Okay, you can doubt David Moyes' credentials as a manager, but those are the managers we've had since, and none of them have worked out. So what makes people think that just getting rid of Solskjaer right now and appointing Pochettino or appointing Allegri or somebody else is going to stop the rot, is going to stop the cycle of shite? I don't think it will. I honestly don't. It could just ruin things, because what I have to say about Solskjaer at the moment, even though we're not playing the best stuff consistently overall, even though we don't have the best players and the squad's really skeleton, I don't think he's responsible for it. He wouldn't have wanted to get rid of Lukaku and Sanchez and these guys and not replace them and let Herrera go and not replace. Surely not. He's going to have time to build this squad back up. Look at our squad compared to City's on paper. Look at it compared to Liverpool's on paper. It's miles behind. Age-wise, we're very young. We've got a very young-look side. Experience, and the experienced players we've actually got in the squad, and they're not good experienced players, I'm afraid. People like Matic are absolutely twattic. People like Mata, he's an absolute pratter at the moment. I'm just saying, the experienced guys in the team, it doesn't really mean that much. We're relying on our young players. And if you look at what Solskjaer's done in terms of who he's brought in, Harry Maguire, okay, it's not really worked out fully for Harry Maguire yet, but I'm sure that it will. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, brilliant right back, one of the best right backs already in the Premier League, 21. Going to be a decade at United of success, hopefully, for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Daniel James, brilliant signing for the future, and it's already working out right now. I mean, come on, you've got to be happy with the development of the squad in those terms. Not happy with the amount of players we got, but happy with the players that we did indeed actually sign and how they have developed. And we're all talking, we need 3 or 4 more players. We need another couple of midfielders, a winger, a striker. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So Solskjaer's doing what he's doing at the moment with a squad that's lacking in certain areas. It's lacking in star quality. It's lacking in experience. So he's got to give these players opportunities, the young guys, develop them. That takes time. You can't expect somebody, even if they've got a big name and a reputation and have played a lot of games for their age, like a Rashford, you can't expect him to be Ronaldo in his heyday right now. Do you know what I mean? If you look at Ronaldo, when Ronaldo was 21, 22, okay, maybe you could argue is better further along, but in terms of goal scoring, I'd say maybe it's not that much difference. Rashford's doing all right, 9 goals in 10 games in all competitions for United. That's his form. That's great bloody form. If he could keep that up for the rest of his career, he'd go down as one of the greats. So let's just see how the team develops under Ole. I've never been Ole out. I don't want Ole out, not yet anyway. Give him a bit more chance. People say, he's shite, he's not shown any experience. He's not got a manager's CV. That only means so much, to be fair. People were saying the same thing about Alex Ferguson. I know he won European trophies and stuff with Aberdeen and the Scottish League with Aberdeen at the time, which is a bigger achievement than winning the Norwegian League with Molde, in my opinion. But still, he didn't have like a huge, long CV. Still, there were times, a good couple of seasons, where people were calling for his head. And people were saying Fergie needs to get sacked and he's not the man for the job. And if we had done that, we wouldn't have had that period of success that United had. So I think you've got to give these people a bit of time. Give them enough rope to hang themselves with. Or, give them a pair of scissors to cut that rope and free themselves. That's the opportunity he's got. Like, he can develop this side, hopefully, if the Glazers and if Woodward are prepared to give him to the end of the season. And, importantly, give him a bit of money in January. Do you know what I mean? We're desperate for players. We're desperate for a midfielder, whether it's Greenish, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, James Maddison. One of those bastards. Just get one of those bastards in there to create and help this United side out. McTominay looks to business. We could definitely do with somebody else, like an Ndidi type player or a Kanté type player. Somebody, people are talking about Declan Rice. I'm not a big lover, but there you go. Somebody like that. Because Fred, as much as he's been good recently, is he really that much of a consistent defensive-minded player? For certain games, you want a different look. So, there you go. Give him some resources, give him a bit more time, let's see what he can do. I'm not saying give him 200 million in January and let him sign all these big experienced name players. We're going to break the bank and bring Lewandowski in for 180 million. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying let him make a couple of good signings, realistic signings that maybe are the sorts of young players that will fit in with the ethos of the current squad and the way we're trying to do it and develop young players like a Jack Grealish, like a James Maddison, those sorts of guys. Haaland, of course, the striker over at RB Salzburg and playing in Austria, scoring shitloads of goals. He's a favourite to join United in the January transfer window. Players like that. That's absolutely spot on and perfect for me. And I know, look, we've been spoiled in my lifetime, Manchester United, for having a great amount of success. Under Fergie, we're completely spoiled. I know it's not an overnight fix. I know football goes in cycles, which is why you have to understand that this is a rebuilding job. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be in the next year or 2 years that United are back up there challenging the likes of City and Liverpool. But if we play the long game, if we make the right sort of signings, the good youngsters that are hungry and will develop, then do you know what? In a couple of years' time, we could really see the fruits of what we're trying to do at the moment. The Rinconator comments, Ollie won 14 straight and beat PSG with a midfield of McTominay, Fred, Andreas Pereira with Diogo Dalot at right wing. Give him money to buy players in time. If he's shit after that, then yeah, he needs to go. Spot on, Alex, exactly. Let him prove himself or let him show that he's a failure. Either way, he hasn't had the amount of time. Now, what's he been in the job? About a year. He's not had the most time. He took over a struggling United side. He's made a couple of changes. He's got rid of some of the deadwood that Manchester United have. And he's not got rid of all of the deadwood yet because he's just not had enough time in the job. He's brought in a few great players, but he's not brought in enough great players yet because he's just not had enough time in the job. Give him a bit in January. Let him spend. What's the worst case? He goes out there, signs a couple of young players like Haaland or Grealish or somebody like that. What's the worst that happens? It's not like the next manager that comes in at the end of the season, if Ollie fails, is not going to enjoy having those players in the squad and developing them. So I'm fully with you. Become the teapot. How are you doing, comments? Pig, I don't see how we lose, but with our form, you guys could pull something out the bag. Yeah, okay, fair play. So, City fan obviously doesn't think that Man United could win that game, but like you say, with your form, I mean, I'm looking at the form. I mean, your form's not terrible. It's just a bit uncharacteristic for City, who usually win every single game. You're currently in third place. You're 3 points behind Leicester, which is a bit of a surprise in itself. Just saw Brendan Rodgers has signed a new deal at Leicester, by the way. Man City, 32 points. The last 5 games in the league, they've won, they've lost, they've won, they've drawn, and they've won. So it's a little bit over the place, to be fair. Manchester United, on the other hand, even more so. We're in a bit of a torrid time at the moment. I mean, City are 11 points ahead of us right now. This is a disgusting league table, by the way. Liverpool are on 43 points, man! 43 points. United are on 21. They're 22 points ahead of us already with only 15 games played. Oh, my days! Of course we need to spend some money in January. But that sickens me. But let's just be positive about it for a second. We're the only actual team to take any points off of Liverpool this season. Do you know what I mean? They've won every single game apart from the one draw against United. So that's something. That's a positive. United form, we've lost, we've won, we've drawn, and we've won. So a little bit better recently. 4 undefeated in the league there. It's our best run all season long, but it's nothing to write home about. So yeah, become the teapot. I think now is a good time for United to play City. I agree with you. I don't think we're going to get the win because if you look at the stats, like City haven't lost 2 home games under Pep Guardiola in a single season while he's been there. Also, United are away form this season. We've only won 1 game, and it was against Norwich, and we've been piss poor away from home. We've been piss poor at home too, but we've been absolutely piss poor away from home. So, are we going to buck the trend now? It's not realistic. Statistically, you have to analyse it. It's not realistic. Gungshi comments, pure filth, the league table. The league table is absolutely pure filth, Gungshi. I mean, come on. We've got teams like Wolverhampton Wanderers who are above us in the league. Chelsea, Man City, Leicester, Liverpool, they occupy the top 4 spots this season. It will probably be how it finishes. I know there's a heck of a long time left of this season. But I don't see Tottenham breaking in it this year. I don't see United breaking in it this year. Arsenal... I don't see Arsenal breaking it this year either. Sorry, Rudd. But look, this has been a shit season for United, okay? And there's just very little to be happy about in terms of opposition teams having a nightmare. And I must say, if anybody's doing shitter than Manchester United right now, if anybody has failed and not lived up to expectation and thought, oh, do you know what? We've made these signings in the summer and we're going to kick on and top 4 is definitely on the horizon and maybe we can challenge and all this stuff. It's Arsenal. Arsenal have bottled it big time. I think they're on their worst run. Since when is it? Like the 70s or the 80s? Something like that. They've had a nightmare. I mean, I'm just looking at their form in the league now. And this is their form. Arsenal's form, currently in 10th place, -2 goal difference. I know Emery's gone now and things will probably improve, but we've got to laugh while we can. Arsenal's form in the league, draw, lose, draw, lose. It's bloody great. Sorry, Rudd. I can see you with a little shocked face there, but come on. We've got to appreciate it for what it is, which is Arsenal are even shiter than us. They spent a lot of money in the summer. It's not worked out for them. There is too much emphasis on immediate success, though. That's the funny thing. Like the previous game against Aston Villa, which we lost, and it was a nightmare, and it was the difference between us being 9th and us being 5th. But people are like, oh, because we drew that game, sack Ollie. But if he'd have won that game, they'd have all been praising Ollie. Yes, we're right back up there, 5th. It's just one game. We need to improve. We need time to improve. Ollie needs time. Let's see how long he can last. Gunga's comments, I wonder, would Arsenal go for Poch? I mean, I think it's more realistic Poch goes to Everton at this stage. That seems to be the perfect squad, perfect fit club for Pochettino right now. There's not so much pressure. He's got some decent players there. It's a rebuild job. He knows how to do that. He'll have a bit of money to spend. Of course, the Arsenal job's a bigger, better job, but I just think it's more realistic, the Everton job, simply because Arsenal, they're not realistically going to go and get Spurs as off-cast. That's what I think, but they may well do. I think it'd actually be a great fit. I'd be the happiest with that. I think Poch should be the happiest with that. And Arsenal fans, you know, as much as they might not want an ex-Spurs guy as their boss, they should seriously look at Pochettino because he is a good coach and he can build and he's a consistent man. Okay, the last few months have been poor at Spurs, but before that he was consistently great and consistently improving the teams. Thank you very much for your comment. said Thomas Gibbons comments, Flying Pig United, would you swap Eriksen for Matic, and also would you rather get Haaland or Werner? Great couple of questions there, mate. Thank you for commenting. I mean, would I swap Eriksen for Matic? I mean, does David Moyes take a dump in the woods every morning? Of course I bloody would, said Thomas Gibbons FC. Of course I would take Eriksen. I'd take Eriksen anyway, even if we're keeping Static. The thing is with Matic is he's just over the hill. He was a good player. He's actually been a great player in his career. But right now, from what I've seen over the last 2 seasons, not good enough. Just not good enough. Okay, here and there he's all right. But overall, he's just inconsistent and poor. So not feeling Matic. I think I would like Jose Mourinho to come in and sign him. If he wants Matic over at Spurs, please do take him off our hands, Jose. If you want to give us Eriksen in return or we can barter and make some sort of a deal, heck yeah. 100% hell yeah. Because, you know, that is exactly the type of player we need. Me and Hotspur were talking about it the other day on the show about the the sort of four players that you're always hearing all about that United are looking for to fill that sort of creative midfielder position. There's Grealish, there's Maddison, there's Bruno Fernandes, and who else is there? I've forgotten. But there's somebody else that everybody keeps talking about as well. Christian Eriksen. That's who we're talking about right now. And I think of those, Christian Eriksen may be the most likely. He may be the best fit for United right now as well because he does have the most experience. And sure, I was just saying it'd be great to get a team full of youthful players that are going to develop and improve. But at the same time, it would be nice to have one player that is just there, that's ready-made, that's experienced. And you do have to have a bit of balance, of course, with youth and experience. You can't expect the kids to win it all on their own. You have to have a decent mixture of experience and have a good balance to the squad. So he seems like a player that that maybe would come to United. Would Spurs want to let him go to a Premier League rival when they could see him go abroad? Would United be prepared to pay the money to him as a player in the deal that we'd have to bring him in for? At the moment, will it fit in line with our current wage structure? I don't really know. It depends what we're going to do. But yeah, Eriksen, he's a quality player, even if he's not really produced it this season in a struggling Spurs side. We all know he's a quality player. But at the same time, you know, it could be another Sanchez situation where you've got a player who's, 29, 30, coming up to that sort of an age, and he's still got some great years ahead of him. But if he gets a big contract at United in a struggling team where it's not all going great for him to begin with, will he have that fight and desire to really build this United side back up to where we need to be? Because we've seen big players come in over the last few years. Lukaku didn't do it for us. Sanchez didn't do it for us. Pogba hasn't done it for us. These are big players that you want to do that, and Eriksen just sort of goes in that mould, whereas if you signed one of those other younger players, there's less pressure on them, it's more of a development job, and maybe they just go out there and they're really hungry and they've got stuff to prove. Like, does Eriksen really have that much left to prove? I don't know. We've got a comment here from Kabitoknab Katorob. I hope I said that right. It's you're using an interesting alphabet there, but he says, if McTominay plays tomorrow, the midfield will be in safe hands. He is solid in the centre of the pitch for us. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I think he's very, very good. He's just a good box-to-box player. Not only does he seem sound defensively, he reads the game well. He's also a good passer of the ball. He also gets forward. He scored a few goals for us this season too. The key really is him and Fred building up that partnership together, where they know what to do, they know when to cover, they know when to go forward, all that sorts of stuff, which we saw in the last game against Spurs was very good. We're going to have to see more of that. It's going to have to be a double performance tomorrow in midfield. For us to have a good performance in midfield tomorrow, both of them are going to have to play to the best of their standards. Riff MU comments Maddison or Fernandes for the CAM position. I mean, you know, it's a difficult one. Bruno Fernandes' stats are very, very impressive, but he is doing it over in the Portuguese league. I think it's more realistic he joins Spurs now with Jose Mourinho being there and having that Portuguese connection as well. And he was touted as maybe being a player that was going to them also in the window. Bruno Fernandes, for me, is a top player. I'd like to see him at United, but I think James Maddison's probably more realistic. But what I will say is in January, I don't think James Maddison's realistic at all. There's no way Brendan Rodgers and Leicester are going to want to see one of their best players this season leave when they are in a push for maybe challenging for the title. It's ridiculous to say as it is. They've already won it once before, by the way, but who could have really saw that coming? They are in a title battle this season. Liverpool are running away with it at the moment, but considering Liverpool are doing so incredibly well and have only dropped 2 points all season to Manchester United and won every other single game, the fact that Leicester are even anywhere near them is quite remarkable and shows you what a good job they're doing. So they're 8 points behind Liverpool, which is a large amount, don't get me wrong. But a couple of losses to Liverpool here and there, they could soon claw that back. I mean, they've both got incredible form. I still think Liverpool are going to win the title, of course, but obviously all United fans are hoping for Leicester to win the title. But if they are going to do that, if they are going to challenge for the title, they need to keep players like James Maddison. So they're not going to get rid of him. No way. I don't even think Maddison would want to go at the moment. Like, why would you want to go? Even if he's a fan of United, why would you want to go? We're struggling. Might as well go at the end of the season if you really want. Why leave a side that is successful and really has a good shot of doing something special this season? There you go. Henry Hotspur's phoning me. It's a shame. Hang on a second. Let me just accept it. Henry Hotspur, I'm just actually making a live video at the moment, mate.
Oh, yeah, let's jump on then.
Jump on? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I should be able to do that, mate. Yeah, I'll call you back on Skype in a moment. 2 secs.
Nice, mate. Sick. Let's do it.
Yeah, I haven't got long, though, mate. I haven't got long, so I'm just going to... Yeah, you jump on. All right, mate. 2 secs.
Suits me fine. Great.
Okay, 2 secs. Sorry, lads and lasses, bit impromptu. Henry Hotspur phoned him up. The only reason I actually answered and want him to come on the show is because we battered them, didn't we? So I'm going to get him on just to get his reaction. Hold on a second, right? Let's do this. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute, because I haven't set any of this up, as I didn't think that Henry would be coming in, but he's just called. He wants to come on the show. I'm going to call him back. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on for a few minutes here. Yeah, Alex Friend says, Pig in the Hen bonus. Alex Rincon says, let me call him Pig. I want to talk to Hen. Possibly. I mean, I don't really have much time, Rincon, to be brutally honest with you, mate. I've got about 10 or 15 minutes. So I was just going to do a half-an-hour video because I've got to get ready and do something. But, you know, seeing as he called, seeing as we beat them 2-1, you know. Oh, what is this? Skype has to reinstall some bullshit. You're taking the mick. Anyway, Saved Purple Cat, thank you very much. He says, this is the best channel. Steve Buckley says, this is pure gold, Pig. Gungshi Pig, ready for some serious face rubbing. Indeed. Right, 2 seconds. Let's get him on here then. Just get your predictions in, by the way. I'd love to know what you think is going to happen for the remainder of the... for the game tomorrow in the derby against Manchester City. Let me know. Do tell me. I'm just going to phone Henry. Better get this in. About this. This is why I need... Do you know what I mean? Right, just read out a few of your predictions. Apadu Nickel comments United 3, City 3. Big D comments 2-2. R Kings comments 2-2. Yeah, I think somewhere along those lines is probably realistic. Henry Hotspur, how you doing? Yeah, give me a moment. It's just messed things up because I've put... Hang on, wait a second.
With me.
Right, okay, boom. Oh, it's wrecked my stream. Nightmare! Hang on. Are we still going out live, lads and lasses? Can you hear us?
I can't see you, pig, if that means anything.
One moment, hen. Yo, 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 yo.
Boom Shanker, how's it going, pig?
Yeah, sorry, we just totally messed my stream up there, but no worries. Hey, Henry Hotspur, just want to say... Oh, yeah! Come on! Yeah?
Well, so I'll see you get through security, 2 secs. Ah, she's here. Sorry, I'm just living the high life out here, you know what I mean? I was going to get my card out to open the little electronic gate, but no, the security guard just thought, he saw me, he knows who I am. He knows I am the Henry Hotspur, and he just opened it for me. And do you know what? I'm a nice guy. I'm not just going to ignore the person. I said thank you in his language, and he loved it.
Fair play, mate, fair play. So what, yeah, obviously... Manchester United battered you the other day, mate. I guess you wanted to pop on and just have a little cheeky chat about all this, yeah?
You didn't batter us at all.
We didn't batter you. Were you joking, mate? We absolutely dominated.
You've got it absolutely all wrong.
We ruined you, mate.
Let's just run through this. Let's run through this, okay? The first 30 minutes, yes, you're right. You were absolutely the better side. You dominated. You were all day long. I get that. 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes of the first half, we look decent. We get the goal back. The second half, individual error, basically, from Sissoko. Doesn't know what he's doing. Rashford playing very well, gets the penalty, puts the penalty away, and then your block shifts back. You can play the game that you want to, which you would, and you get the win. That's all that happened.
I mean, personally, fair enough. I mean, of course, yeah, we are going to do that and, try and see the game out. But I would say over the course of the game, I'm struggling to think of really any great opportunities that you had. Towards the end, there was a couple. Dele Alli's goal was good, obviously. But other than that, we dominated chances. We dominate the type of play. Look, it wasn't an amazing performance from either of us, but I think United definitely were clearly the better team.
Oh, yeah, you were the better team on the day. Yeah, I'll give it to you. On the last pig of the hen, I was already nervous about the game. There's almost too much riding on the game. We lost here. Who cares? One game. I couldn't care less.
Oh, yeah, who cares?
Couldn't care less.
Who gives a shit? Just back down to what? Let's just have a look. Just back down to 8th in the Premier League here.
So what? We're 14th when Pochettino got sacked.
So you haven't changed your tune then? You still think Jose Mourinho's the Messiah, all that good stuff, yeah?
Absolutely. End of the day, Manchester United, I already knew this. I didn't want to say too much on the last Pig of the Hen show, but I already knew that you're actually pretty good against the top teams. And do you know why? Do you know why that is? Whenever you come up against a decent side, the pressure's kind of off you. You're kind of thinking, well, the result doesn't matter so much. And you actually play very well. You kind of enjoy playing against teams that think they're something. Time and time again, when you're playing teams that you should be beating, you're struggling. You're struggling to fuck, okay? And this is just a thing. I mean, I remember you playing against Liverpool. I remember you playing against Liverpool when you were winning the game. And even a friend of mine that's actually involved in terms of the sponsorship at Manchester United, we'll get into this at some point on another show, because I've got fingers in pies. Of course I am. I'm Henry Hotspur. But even that friend said, no, this is United's game. And I said, no, hang on a sec. Lallana's going to equalise. And he did. Right? But on that particular game, you look like you're going to win that one.
Yeah, but I mean, Liverpool the best team in the league, and that's the only points they dropped all season long is those 2 points that we took off of them. So I hear what you're saying, but yeah, we do seem to raise our game a little bit when we're coming up against these, these types of teams. But it's only natural. That is why teams like Aston Villa and teams that come up against United raise their levels, because they know that they're coming up against a big team. So that's only reasonable, I think. I mean, it should be the same for Spurs, but it obviously wasn't the other day.
No, it's different because the pressure's off you because Mourinho's returning. Tottenham have better players than Manchester United right now. So the pressure's off you guys. All you need to do is go out there and play your game and play a decent game. The pressure was on Tottenham the other day, and you won it. I've got to admit it. That's what happened.
Were you not really disappointed? Did you watch the game, yeah? Did you not think that the way that Spurs played was just complete Jose Dross already? Like the long balls over the top, slow pass around the back.
Really?
Rubbish football, mate. I was just looking, thinking, God, I'm so glad we're not playing like that anymore. I really was so happy we're not playing like that anymore.
Having a go at Jose. Really? We lost 2-1.
Well, it was just a shite style of play.
That's not down to Jose when he's been there like less than a second. I
just want to read this super chat out from Gungshi Henry. He comments, Hen, here's a donation for a couple of slices of humble pie for you and Jose. How does it taste? How does that humble pie taste, Hen?
Mate, I was not bigging up Spurs against Manchester United for that game at all. For a start, Gungshi. All right.
Hey, Rincon, do you want to phone in quickly? Rincon's desperate to speak to you, Hen, if you're up for.
Yeah, I'll talk to that.
I've only got 5 minutes. Hey, Rincon, please phone back, mate. Quickly, if you just want to berate Henry too.
Why have you only got 5 minutes?
I'm like, because I got to get on, mate. I'm loving the hairstyle you got on the go. It's the old Daniel Farker. Yeah?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Got the old Daniel Farker on the go. Rincon comments, let me call in. Oh, okay, hang on a second. Here we go.
I have had a whiskey or two, just to let you know.
Yeah, I can tell, mate. I can tell. Hey, Rincon, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, bloody hell.
Yo.
Yo.
Nice hat, sir. Nice hat. Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby, mate.
I gotta figure out my audio, microphone. Yeah.
Rincon is just there.
Damn, I can't hear you guys.
This is what I've been looking forward to all week. Isn't it, Rincon? This is your moment. This is your moment to shine, my friend. Go on.
I don't think he can hear us, mate. I don't think he can hear us.
Well, everybody else can. This is your... Hold on one second. I can't hear yous. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, he's left.
Oh, dear.
That's it. Do one.
Hang on. Hey, can you hear us now, Alex? Can you hear us now, mate? I'm going to say that's a no.
You guys hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Can you hear us, yeah?
Yeah. I can hear you guys now.
Oh, awesome. How you doing, my friend?
Here we go.
Have some of that Hen.
There we go. He's got his... There we go.
You guys know you're dominated, right? I'm looking at the stats right now. You were outshot. We created more chances, and you guys had more possession.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
You were dominated, just straight up. You guys are dominated. You guys are playing that long ball bullshit football that we saw under Mourinho for 3 years, and you're defending it. And now you have some of that. Get in.
Have some of that, Hotspur. I mean, I totally agree. It's so funny as well because literally the way that Spurs played in that game was just like pure Jose Mourinho dross already. Look, I know he's only had a few games to work, but it's like he's almost gone, right, lads, look, this is how my United side's been playing over the last 12 months. We've got to study hard and play like this.
I'm just fucking with you, though, Hen. It's just bad.
Wait a sec. Right, for a start, I think Jose going back to Old Trafford, in that respect, you could see that the United players wanted to play. They had a point to prove. End of the day, I think, to be honest, with the players at Manchester United, in some ways, they'll never tell you, but I think there was a dislike of Jose. That's why he got sacked. End of the day, they weren't a happy crowd. Doesn't matter what Jose says, okay? So he
There's
goes back
a dislike
with
of
Tottenham
Jose, though,
Hotspur, there was more of an oomph to the United performance than there was Tottenham Hotspur in that game all day long.
Under Mourinho, we had a lot of performances like that where we just didn't show up. The attitude wasn't right, or the performance wasn't right. I'm sure Pig remembers. I mean, one of the results I think of under Mourinho was we beat West Ham the year he got sacked. We just showed up and just played exactly like Spurs played. There's no energy.
Sort your wind noise out, Henry. I'm trying to listen to the dulcet tones of Alex Rincon over here, mate. Come on. Sort your wind noise out, pal.
I'm trying.
You're full of wind, just like you were before the game.
I think Spurs will win something under Mourinho. I don't know what that is. You guys may win the Mickey Mouse Cup. You might win the Premier League. Who knows? I do think it means something under Mourinho. But it's going to end exactly like it always ends. It's like a bad break. It just ends with everyone being pissed off at each other. And he'll get sacked. It's a state than what you guys were in before he arrived.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you there, Alex. I think they'll probably do all right for a little while, like it usually happens with Jose at a new club, or any new manager, really. Most of the time, there's always an upturn in form when a new manager comes in. It probably won't take long for the rot to set in. I do expect the remainder of the season for them still to be in their honeymoon. Well, I expect the rest of the season to still be in your honeymoon period.
On, guys.
Maybe you might get yourself some sort of a Mickey Mouse trophy over the next year.
Trophy-winning manager. Okay, we lost to Manchester United. You were at home. We lost 2-1. If you actually break down the game itself, we came back in. Yes, you dominated the first half. For the majority of the first half, Dele Alli scores an absolute stunner and brings us level. Okay, second half, we come out, we're trying to play. Sissoko makes a stupid error. Rashford gets the penalty. He puts it away. Then your block moves back. Then you can play the game that you want to. You can play the defensive game. And to be fair to United, you did very well to ensure that that was the case. And that's what happened. Simple as that. Let's not butter it. You know, there's already
I'd say you were lucky not to be 3 or 4-0 down in the first half end, to be fair.
In the first half, I say that I honestly believe United could have been up like 3-0. Rashford could have had a hat trick. That would have put immediately.
Nah, you're thinking too much.
That's twice.
So what?
He hit the crossbar, that sensational strike, and then Gazzaniga just palmed it onto the crossbar. Could have easily gone in the back of the net. There was, you say we didn't dominate over the whole game, but really we dominated enough in the first half of the game to put Spurs completely to bed. And we should have done it. It's only because, Gazzaniga pulled off a couple of decent saves amongst a bunch of crap saves and managed to stop Rashford a couple of times. If Rashford, had converted those, which he could have done on another day, Spurs would have been absolutely screwed, mate. So really, the result at the end, it sort of flatters Spurs, if anything, and the stats flatter Spurs because, you had a little bit of a late flurry, but really, United dominated it for the most of the game.
I'm looking at the stats now. Tottenham only had 8 shots total. That's poor. You guys averaged for the game.
Well, it's difficult to create chances when you're just hoofing the long balls over the top,
also,
aren't you?
Let's not forget, Harry Kane now goes 11 games against United and has only scored 2 goals. One of them was a fluke.
Henry, cup your microphone, Hotspur.
I am.
It's amateur hour over in Guangzhou, China at the moment.
I'll cup it as much as I can.
It's not the first time he said that, is it? Oh, dear.
I thought it was a good game. I think Mourinho should play, and we dominated. Ole spanked that ass.
He did. I mean, to be fair, you can't really say anything other than that, Hen. There was all this talk about Jose coming back to Old Trafford. They were the favourites, all the pressure on United at the moment. And Jose failed. Jose lost to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's inexperienced and has a worse squad on paper anyway. So how do you defend that one?
The poorest Manchester United team in the Premier League era played last year's Champions League finalist off the park.
Nice one, J. Dot. Loving that comment there. You've got nothing to say, have you, Hen? Because you can't defend yourself, mate. You cannot defend Tottenham. You can't defend Jose. You've got nothing to say,
It's
my
one
friend.
game. It's one game. I mean, it's brilliant for you guys. Yes, we got mugged right off. That's what happened. Okay, you deserve to win the game. I already said that. Okay, but I think there's a hell of a lot more pressure on the Tottenham Hotspur players. We go to United. I mean, you know, Rashford had the bit between his teeth to make sure he looked like a good player. Much more so than he usually does. I know he's having a good season, but just in general, your whole performance was completely unorthodox compared to what you usually do. I mean, look at you guys against Aston Villa the other day. You know, it's like suddenly, Jose and Tottenham, we're going to play today. You know, why is it not like that for you game in, game out? The reason is that you're able to raise your game against teams that you think are good. And every time you come up against someone that you're supposed to be beating, for some reason, you go to shit.
It's management, mate. You've got to motivate your team, and that's exactly what Ollie did, obviously. Why can't Jose do that?
On the game. There we go. On the game. Jose's won 3 out of...
And he's
start building the man when we lost by 1 goal and we're away from home against Manchester United. It is what it is. Okay, I would have loved to win the game. I was nervous going into the game. I wasn't surprised about the result at all. It's very premature to start saying that Jose is fucking things for Tottenham Hotspur.
No, I don't think he's fucking things. You definitely think it's gonna go down the same path that it always goes down with Jose Mourinho. The first year's a honeymoon. You win. The second. United fans signed with United, we all thought, it'll be different this time. And you guys are saying the same thing that we it'll be different. It'll be different at Spurs. No, it won't. It's the same way it always is.
Fingers Rincon. As long as we win a trophy or two, I'll take it. And I've said this this before on the Pig and the Hen. You know, unlike the accusations that you've been coming out with on some of the comments saying that I'm some kind of two-faced cunt, which I'm not, right?
It's true. It's true. I actually went back this morning and found a bunch of videos where you were slagging off Pig about Mourinho.
Yeah, I'm sure I was. Why would I not have been?
Mourinho
was at Manchester United. We're on a YouTube channel where, you know, it's about Manchester United. I'm obviously supporting an opposing team. Of course, I'm going to be bantering the fuck out of it. Am I not, Rincon?
Hey, fair play, man. But hey, when you lose, we get to banter you back.
Yeah, and why am I here?
I don't know.
Accepted.
No, I respect that you've come on here and shown your face to a degree anyway, because, I mean, fair play, you're second best, Jose's there, and it wasn't a good game, but you've had a decent start. Fair play, let's see how it goes. You probably, I'm with Rincon, I'm with you, I think you probably will pick up some sort of a Mickey Mouse trophy while he's there. Don't see you getting one of the big ones, and I think it will leave the club in a worse situation than he got it in.
Such a horrible way to say it. So casual, Pig. You're disgusting. You know what I mean? You're like a low-grade sausage right now. No pork.
No, but banter aside, I do think you guys are going to win something. Because Mourinho always does. He's a winner. He's going to win something with you guys. It may be the Europa League. It may be the champ. Yeah, I don't know what it'll be. But you guys are going to win something. But I do still believe that it's going to end.
Sorry, Rincon. You almost stopped short of saying Champions League there. You said it might be Europa League, might be Champions, and then you cut yourself off.
No. You could.
He was going to say championship.
There, you're almost there. Kind of Champions League.
Hey, you know what?
I'd take that, Alex Rincon. I would take that.
Yeah, sure. And who else wouldn't have taken that? I mean, if Jose had won the Champions League with United, I would have taken that as well. We won the Europa League with him, but That's the difference in level between a club like United and a club like Spurs. We sack managers when they win the FA Cup, like Louis van Gaal. You guys would praise them forever, and they'd be legends at your club. That's the point I'm making.
They'd make a DVD out of it.
Well, that's how far you.
The ambitions are different. United want to challenge for titles. You guys
best.
Just want to win something.
And
the ambitions are different.
The only thing that you can get a bit of a wet willy about these days is beating Tottenham Hotspur at home. So I calm down, lads. I calm down.
No, I mean, I sort of agree with what you were saying earlier as well, Hen. Like, to be fair, like, if we'd have just beaten the teams that we should be beating, then we'd be right up there this season. That has been our problem.
Yeah.
We get ourselves up for these big games.
The
players, the manager, whatever it may be, but we falter against the lesser teams.
The problem is we're inconsistent. We have a young team. Young players are going to make mistakes. That's just reality. I mean, when I was a young kid, I made mistakes. So, I mean, it's only natural that the young players are going to make mistakes. That's why we're so inconsistent. I actually think for the Spurs game, it was smart to bench Brandon Williams, for example, and play Ashley Young, even though I think Ashley Young is terrible at fullback. Williams got exposed against Aston Villa. Jack Grealish had him on toast. And to protect him, I think we played Ashley Young, for example. My point being is the reason we're inconsistent is because we have young players, and young players, they make mistakes. They have to learn by making those mistakes. It's going to take time. That's why I'm only in.
Good man, yeah. You see, it seems to be very split at the moment. We both think he needs time. He hasn't had much time. What he's actually done with the limited resources he's had has been pretty good.
You both know my opinion on Ollie. I've never said Ollie out, have I? Have I ever said Ollie out? No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
all I've ever said is, I've said, and I'll come back to this, and I've said it on multiple Pig in the Hen shows. I have said that if Ollie finishes below 8th, come the end of the season, that I think you need to be looking at another manager. Simple as that. As a results business, I've put my stake on the 8th position bare minimum. And do you know what? Even if you do finish 8th and you're not looking great, you probably get sacked anyway. So I'm being generous.
Let me ask you this then. With the players and the quality of the squad we have, which we can all agree is crap and not good enough for Manchester United standard, finishing 8th would be pretty good of an achievement than winning not.
Well, there we go. So Ollie keeps his job, like I said, Alex.
Yeah, so we're in agreement.
There we go. There we go. Thank you.
I mean,
my whole thing is you got to give Ollie time to buy players. If he buys his players and we're still shit, then fine. We're shit. Let him go. We need someone else. But he hasn't even gotten the opportunity and the fairness to buy players. We sold 8 and bought 3. That's not enough.
I think both United and Tottenham Hotspur are there or thereabouts where you need to at least be challenging the top 6. So, if you don't finish in the top 6, but if you're 7th or 8th and it's looking great, fantastic. But if you're mid-table, Pig has been going on about mid-table for a few weeks now. If you consider yourself a mid-table team, you shouldn't be considering yourself a mid-table team because you still got players good enough to finish above mid-table. Simple as that. And if Ollie can't achieve that, he's not good enough.
We won't finish below 8th. There's no way we finish below 8th this season.
But don't let him fuck around.
And like Rincon was saying a moment ago, you've got to allow him to get more players, and you've got to judge him based on the players that he gets as well. So far, you've got to give him an A out of the players that he's brought in. Whereas like Jose, look at the players he brought in over his career at United. Who was it? Was Pogba a Jose signing? Matic, Sanchez, Lukaku, they've all turned out to be shite. That's how you judge a manager. Give him a bit of time to judge him.
100% agreement with you. Mourinho is not a perfect man. Despite his trophy cabinet, I think he made the most mistakes of his whole career at Manchester United in terms of actually getting involved with the hierarchy that you got there, accepting the fact that, there's other people pulling the strings there, but you're still able to spend money. And he thought he was good enough. He was arrogant enough that he could just make it work with getting people like Alexis Sanchez and etc. And it did not work at all. And I think he's turned a leaf. I really do. Having spent a bit of time at Sky Sports, actually looking at himself, realising that he's a great manager. But I think he's been humbled by it. And I certainly hope so for Tottenham Hotspur's sake.
Nah, Leopard never changes its spots, my friend. He's just in the honeymoon period. He's saying all the right things. Do you know what I mean? Give it a bit of time. Levy will do something that annoys him. He'll make it publicly known. He'll fall out with Dele Alli. They'll have a punch up in the dressing room, whatever it is. And there'll be some horrid way that it all ends in tears for him at Spurs. Might be 2 or 3 years down the line, but you know it's going to end in a horror show.
You're pissing me off so much, I'm going to have to go buy a beer. You're fucking me off to that extent. I'm going to go to the shop right now, and I'm going to just drink a beer, even though I'm already wired on whiskey. You know, because you guys are affecting my mentality right now.
Hey, Mourinho spent $800 million at United, and he bought really bad.
Good. I hope that he takes you down.
No, but he bought a lot of really bad players, in my opinion. Mkhitaryan busted, Matic, Alexis, Lukaku, Eric Bailly. I mean, yeah, he's good, but he's hurt all the time. Victor Lindelof, he's kind of showing that he's not been good enough. Diego Dalot, he's been injury prone. Fred's average as fuck. So, like, he didn't buy well either. Pogba
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's signings are already better than Jose Mourinho's signings, and he hasn't signed as many of them.
And you could argue that the only good signing Mourinho maybe have made was Zlatan. And we got lucky that Zlatan was good. Because nobody thought he was going to come in and score 30 goals.
That was an amazing signing, yeah. I mean, we could almost just do with him again right now, but we need to develop the squad, obviously. Is that Henry Hotspur? Is that Daniel Farker? I don't actually know. Bingtown, fair play to you.
Anyway, all right, fellas, I got to run. I just wanted to say.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you very much, Alex. I mean, we've pretty much got to. Yeah, we've got to wrap this up anyway. So we've gone over time significantly, but it's great to see your face. By the way, I did actually put your face on Skype. I hope you don't mind. I didn't even ask.
I don't care.
Nice one.
Nice talking to you guys. Let's do this again more often.
Pleasure, Alex. Yeah, definitely. Whenever we can get it done, we will do. It's been great catching up with you, mate.
All right, cheers, fellas. See ya.
Fuck Spurs. Yeah. See you later. Bye, mate. What are you doing then? Oh, my God. Right, okay. So we're pretty much going to wrap it up then, Henry Hotspur, because I've got to crack on, mate. Oh, I'll just wait until he gets out of the shop so he can actually say goodbye and everything. But there you go. Great to have Alex Rincon stop by and berate Henry a little bit and, you know, have him on the show. It's been a while since we've featured him on the show, so great to hear from the Rinconator. Let me know what you think. I should have asked him, actually. I was going to say, let me know what you guys think is going to be the result tomorrow. I should have asked Rincon what I think the result's going to be. Rincon, if you're still listening, please type in and let me know your prediction of the game. I wanted to ask you that. But I think it's going to be a draw anyway.
Right, sorry, I didn't want to open my mouth whilst I'm in the shop. Apologies for not saying goodbye to Rincon. It's not because I don't respect him as a fellow amateur pundit. But yeah, I mean, it was more important at the time for me to be buying myself a beer right now. So there we go.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play. Yeah, bit of a random show, bit of a random end to the show, but it's been fun. Great to hear from Rincon. Great to hear from Henry. Pretty much going to have to wrap this one up though, Hotspur.
All right, what you got to do then, Pig?
That's between me and the sea, my friend.
Who's the sea?
Look.
Come on, mate. You know what I mean? You got 23,500 subscribers, and you can't even tell everybody what you're doing, or at least lie about it. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna say I've got to crack on with some stuff, mate. That's fine, all right. That'll do. We don't need to go into anything, okay?
Yeah, well, if I want to ask,
all right. If you must though, I'm waxing my undercarriage, all right?
Nice, good. Post
but anyway, look, we've got to wrap this video up, Henry. Picking the missus up. That's what it is, all right? Okay, you got it out of me.
Okay, because you're such a good boyfriend. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by on the live show today. Thanks for Henry Hotspur for phoning in. Pig and the Hen show will be on Wednesday as per usual. This was started off as just a random preview for the City game. It's turned into a bit of a fun chat with Rincon and Henry here, or Henry / Daniel Farker's brother, whatever you want to say. Great to see him. I'm very pleased you showed your face, Henry, after that dismal display by Spurs.
Thank you. I mean, in fairness, I just have to say, when it comes to Pig personally, when it comes to the missus and that, he's spot on. He's a proper gentleman. I'm just going to put that out there. That's fair.
That's it.
That's fair.
I
That's
keep
honest.
I keep it to 3 or 4 backhanders a week. I'm a proper gent.
There we go. Exactly. Much less than what I do on my missus.
Oh, Henry,
Jokes,
what's your prediction?
jokes.
What's your prediction for the game tomorrow, mate?
Which game?
The Man United City derby.
Oh, you're going to get absolutely trounced, mate.
You think, yeah?
Trounced 4-1.
City haven't looked that good recently, though, mate.
4-1 all day long.
4-1. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if we get beaten, I don't think it'll be by that big of a margin, but fair play.
4-1.
Who have you got? You've got Burnley tomorrow at 3:00.
That's going to be 3-1.
Fair one. So the Rinconator's just commented he thinks it's going to be 1-1. By the way, I missed a super chat from Gungshi here.
No shit.
Super chat from Gungshi says, Hen, have another whiskey on me. Very nice of Gungshi there.
Thanks, no, me and Gunshi are fucking down with it. You know what I mean? Me and Gunshi are spot on with everything. Aren't we, Gunshi?
Gungshi's going for a 1-2 United win. Griffo Chaz comments 2-1 to Man City. JP thinks it's going to be 3-2. Guessing he thinks that's a City win. Matt Rush comments, we play better against better teams. 2-2. Very true. We're the only team to take points off Liverpool.
4-1, are they?
Nobody's agreeing with the 4-1. I mean, even the pessimists on the show think that it's probably going to be, a 2-1 victory to City.
This is at the Etihad, yeah?
Yeah, it's at the Etihad.
Yeah, you're going to be destroyed.
It doesn't really mean anything, though, does it, at the Etihad? It probably helps us because it's like, it's just like a shit empty stadium.
You're going to be ripped open a new hole.
Nice one. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, but I want to say thanks to everybody that stopped by. I know there was a couple of audio issues during that Skype call, so hopefully you could hear us okay when it was on. But appreciate Henry phoning in and showing his face. Appreciate Rincon phoning in and giving his opinions and berating Hen a little bit. It was very fun to hear. Thank you once again, Hen. Thank you to all of you for tuning in, stopping by and watching the video. You're a bunch of heroes. Do us a favour before you go. Smash a cheeky little like on it. Also, come back once this video has been published. Get your thoughts and opinions in in the not live comments about predictions for the game, selections, what you want to see, what you think is going to happen, all that good stuff. Tune in tomorrow. I will be doing a watch along for the game, of course, and the post-match reaction. So make sure you are there for that, and we'll hopefully have a positive time.
That was only part one, me and Rincon, just to let you know. And not even part one. That was
not even part one, no.
That was
just a
like
complete impromptu little vid there, yeah.
A prologue.
We're going to get Rincon on very soon.
Whatever you call it. I mean, me and Alex Rincon, we got unfinished business. So, if you're in the mood for more Henry Hotspur versus Alex Rinconator, stay tuned.
Nice one, yeah. I'd say it's 1-0 to Rincon on that one, though.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Maybe you can get the equaliser soon, though, But yeah, we've got to get him on for a full-on mass debate. Right, okay, lads and lasses.
That's the real reason he needs to wrap things up.
Right, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for stopping by. Have yourselves a bloody good one. Come on, United! Let's do City. Imagine that, though. Beating Spurs, beating City. What a week that would be. Take us right back up there. It would relieve so much pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the squad and give us that massive boost of confidence. Come on! Believe.
Good luck with that. Keep dreaming.
All right, take it easy, guys. See you soon. I'm just going to play the Patreon credits. You have yourselves a bloody good one. Stay classy. And come on. Appreciate all of you for stopping by on this show today, by the way. Thank you to Rincon for phoning in. Thanks to Hen for phoning in. Thanks to, I'm just going to do a few shout-outs at the end here. Matt Rush, J. Dot, The Music Fiend, Here Snark, JP Pepperhead, and of course the star patrons that do support and do help this channel grow by supporting it on Patreon. Alex Rudd, Alex Rincon, Ikalul, Matt Norton, Lucinda Green, of course, Robbo. These people are all legends, by the way. Liam White, Gungshi, Jarvis Cocker, Pete Miller. So thank you to each and every one of you guys for tuning in. You can become a patron if you want to go to patreon.com/FlyingPigUnited if you're that way inclined. But either way, take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow for the game. Come on, United. Let's frickin' be having them.